Angelica. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm a little bit sleep deprived, so I'm glad we're having coffee.
Yeah, well, tell me, let's break the ice. What are we drinking?
Okay, so I'm drinking a decaf coconut milk latte and you're drinking a regular one. The reason I chose it is it's quite close to my heart because I remember about 2 years ago we ran a feature on AboutTime magazine, which is the website I run, about London's best coconut milk cappuccinos. And we got such a backlash on Twitter, people saying, you're inventing trends, you're making them up, you know, this is all clickbait. And I remember feeling really bad and really hard on myself when I met with my team and I was like, should we take it down? Like, are we making up trends? And we stuck with it. And for me, it was quite a lesson because about 2 months later, Pret rolled out coconut milk lattes throughout the whole country. And this huge vegan trend exploded. And everywhere you go now, it's oat milk, flat whites, almond milk cappuccinos, like soya milk chai lattes, and it's everywhere, and it's such a big trend. And for me, it was a lesson in pushing boundaries and not taking on too much feedback and too much criticism and kind of knowing your own mind a little bit.
Well, I'm going to try this because I've actually never had a coconut milk cappuccino, so it's about time that I tried one. That's very cheesy.
Looking forward to your feedback.
Oh, that's nice.
Quite sweet.
It is sweet, but that's nice. I like it.
Delicious.
So, right, I want to start at the beginning because I know that you studied drama and English and you've always been passionate about writing, but where did the passion originate from?
So I was working in a magazine. After university, I studied English and drama at Bristol. And as part of my last year at Bristol, you had to do a session with a magazine, or you had to do something in the industry. So I went and worked for a fashion and travel publication. And when I was working there, I realised that when it came to food in London, there was a lot of overwhelming content. So big long listicles of 100 of the best burgers, or
intense.
50 things to do this weekend. And I felt like it was overwhelming for a time poor Londoner, and actually scaling it back and doing something more curated, which is like, here's 5 things that are worth your time, or here's 5 burgers you need to try, so people could actually go out and do it without that tyranny of choice, would be great. So I set about launching something myself, and it started just me, and I launched a website, and it just kind of took off, and it went from there. And I found that Londoners were very receptive to being bossed around. They liked the authoritative tone, and that bossiness really resonated with them.
That's really interesting, the bossiness that Londoners liked.
They just like being told, like, this is worth your time and money. People just want it scaled back.
So you came up with this idea, you put it online. A lot of people can come up with an idea and put something online these days, but not always are they able to monetize it. So how did you monetize it and turn it into this business that's done so well?
It's definitely been a challenge, and I think being in a frontier industry with digital media where people haven't quite figured out how you monetize online, for me it's been a lot of pivoting and working out which avenues to go down, and we've gone through some that have worked and some that haven't, but having a sense of flexibility of mindset, that trying things out. So we did a lot of sponsored content at the start where we would work with brands and we'd write about them, and that kind of worked well for the first few years. And then the Instagram boom happened, where things really changed in media because people weren't reading features in the same way, they were following influencers. So loads of the brand spend was going purely on Instagram and on social rather than on advertorials and on content. So for me, that was like a big shift. I was like, we're gonna have to change our strategy because this isn't what brands are looking for anymore, they want influencers. So we changed and we started doing more live events where we thought, right, we've got an amazing community, we have readers, let's take that in from the digital into the physical and give something like an experience to our readers. So we started hosting panel talks, masterclasses, we've done festivals, and that for me felt like a really authentic and great way to work with our audience, and it didn't just feel like we were just kind of selling out to brands. And also we can offer brands great things within that. They can sponsor events, they can partner up, they can get their name in front of audiences, which is what a lot of the startups want to do. So it felt really authentic. So I think it's just about being flexible in your attitude and not being fixed on one business plan, but changing with the times.
Well, speaking of live events, you have literally
just
this morning launched a new business.
We have, yeah. So we've launched the AboutTime Academy this morning. So like I said, for the last few years, we've been doing events, but in quite a sporadic way, where we kind of did them when we felt like like them. It's slightly less structured. And what I really realised whenever we hosted them, that they were amazing. We always got such great energy and feedback. And I thought, you know what, we're going to make this a lot more proper and official. So for the last few months, we've been working to curate a whole season of events over the course of this year.
Amazing.
And we're doing 4 or 5 events a month. So I'm not going to have a social life anymore, but that's fine.
That's a lot.
Not that I've really had one, so it's okay. So we were launching the AboutTime Academy, and we've got authors and experts and entrepreneurs and founders all sharing experiences in lots of different formats. Some panel talks, some keynotes, some half-day masterclasses, and that's on a separate website, separate socials.
So how do people, if I wanted to attend, how would I do that?
So you'd go to abouttimeacademy.com, and there's a list of all the events coming up, and then you purchase through Eventbrite. So
Amazing.
And it's great, and it's nice to have a diversity of voices and to bring our audience into something real, a real life experience.
Yeah, well, speaking of diversity as well, you have figured out how to network, it seems. Like you are in circles that you need to be, you're meeting the right people, you're hosting these events and panels with influential people that give incredible talks. So as an entrepreneur, what is the key to networking?
I think it's a combination of things. One of the things that I often say to people is try and maintain relationships when you don't need anything from someone.
Okay,
For me, that's been quite useful. It's just going for coffees with people when you just want to catch up and you don't have an agenda or a motive. I think it can be formal networking, feel a little bit cutthroat or a bit grabby, and actually what's really great is like genuine relationships, because you never know when someone's going to be useful to you or when you're going to be able to collaborate. So my best relationships have always been ones with people that I really know well, and that we've moved as they've moved jobs or industries, we've stayed in touch. And then, you never really know what's going to happen. And then just putting yourself out there and placing yourself, being in the room. So whether that's having the confidence to go to events alone in your industry, or like if you're a bit shy, like going up to people you don't know, it can be a bit scary. But I think, baptism of fire and actually putting yourself in the room.
You sometimes just got to take risks, right?
I think sometimes it's best to go alone, because without the security of having someone there to talk to, you kind of have to go out.
You're forced.
You're forced into it, which can be really good.
Yeah. I want to hear more about AboutTime Academy, because for me it sounds extremely exciting.
Yeah.
So what events do you have coming up?
We've got loads of things, so a really broad mix. We've got one with Daisy Buchanan, who's an author and a journalist, who's just written a book about sisterhood and the power of sisterhood. So we're doing an event with her discussing the importance of sisterhood. We've got an event with Rhiannon Lambert, who's a Harley Street nutritionist, and she's doing a talk about eating for mental health and how you can support your mental health through good nutrition. We're doing also an event about how to get a book deal, which will be fun, a half-day workshop. So a real big mix of different stuff. We've also got one about how to balance your hormones naturally, which I'm quite excited about, with some hormone specialists.
What advice do you have for, I'm going to say bloggers, writers, who are trying to create unique content and perhaps get their own voice across through the content that they create?
I think what I found, which has worked really well for us, is thinking about content as community. So when you write a feature, you're thinking about what community does this sit with? Who's going to share this? So understanding where it sits in terms of identity. So for example, some of our most popular features to date have been things like London's best Korean barbecue, which ranks really well on Google, and people are always searching for Korean barbecue. And when that first did really well, I was like, well, I wonder why. And then I realised it was the Korean community in London was looking for restaurants for that. Or we've got features on like London's best carrot cake, and people who are like love carrot cake and are really passionate about it shared it loads on Facebook. So trying to find quite niche things that can sit within a larger community. And then beyond that, just making your content really visually appealing. That's really important. So making sure the photographs are lovely, and if you can support it with video or anything multimedia to add a bit of depth is great.
Okay. If you could break the ice with anyone, past or present, who would it be and why?
Oh, it's very difficult. There's so many people I'd like to. Do you know who I absolutely love is Nigella Lawson?
Oh.
I think if I could break the ice with anyone, I'd like to go and have a drink with Nigella. She's just so warm and like likeable, and I've followed her for years, and her recipes are just so decadent and have so
gorgeous,
much.
Hey?
She's gorgeous, and there's so much butter and everything, and it always tastes so delicious.
So much butter?
Literally, like her sticky toffee pudding is just, it's all butter. It's amazing. I love her recipes. I love her as a person, so I think I'd break the ice with her.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having a coconut cappuccino with us.
Well, thank you for having me.
And we look forward to just watching you, go soar, fly.
Powered by coffee.
Powered by coffee. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more inspirational videos just like this, then don't forget to subscribe, which you can do right over here. Also, give us a thumbs up and let us know in the comment section who you would like us to break the ice with next.